Is safety one of your biggest concerns when thinking about crime on a college campus? Are you worried about getting caught up with the wrong crowd, or is it that you're afraid that you may end up at the wrong place and at the wrong time? Well, all of these all of these are normal concerns, and I'm going to talk about what crime goes on and how to navigate staying away from them. First thing is to understand that any crime can happen anywhere. Doesn't matter what state, city, if it's a HBCU or a PWI, college, university. The fact is that there will always be a few bad apples mixed in the bunch. Most crimes can consist of drug dealing, doing drugs, battery charges from fighting, stealing, extorting, prostitution, and many other things that I would love to name, but I won't do it just because we are on a social media platform. But you get the point. All of these things can happen from students that are at the university, non-students that live in the area, or even someone such as a college professor. And yes, I did say a college professor. What does this mean? This means that you can't necessarily count anyone out. This means that you must choose your inner circle of friendships wisely. And even the areas that you choose to associate with or even hang around and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, being at the wrong place and at the wrong time could be as simple as getting into your homeboy's car to go to McDonald's, and then you all get pulled over by a police officer, not knowing that your friend has a warrant on him and that he has drugs inside the car. Um, this could even mean going to a party with your homegirl and her getting into with it with someone there, and the situations forces you to get involved, and you may even end up hurting someone really bad, which unfortunately could now go on your record. This could even be a situation where you get upset and say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and they decide to take your life in that moment. You see, I tell everyone all the time that no one wakes up one day and says, today is going to be my last day, right? No one says that. No one wakes up and say, hey, today is that's it, right? Um, you have to understand that every decision that you make is very crucial and that it can determine your survival. I remember one time during my junior year of college, I actually had two roommates, one of them being one of my closest friends, even till this day. And another guy that I barely really knew. It was more of a situation where, we was roommates. We saw each other going up the stairs, down the stairs. Hey, what's up? That type of thing, but didn't really know him very well at all. Even my homeboy that was roommates with me, he didn't know the other guy like that as well. We just kind of kept things very cordial. Well, he actually had a friend that would occasionally, at times, he would come over to our crib, right? And at times, and we were somewhat kind of aware that he was probably like what they call the plug. But he would have random people coming over to our crib to buy drugs from him, marijuana, things like that. And I'm not sure what else he had. I'm just assuming, to be honest with you, I don't know because I didn't even really know him that well either. Safe to say, my crib was somewhat like a trap house, or you could pretty much argue that. Well, one day a detective came by. Keep in mind at this time I was actually stressing a little bit because I actually had a play. For those of you who don't know, I actually um went to school for theater, and at the time I was preparing for a play. So I'm in the restroom using the bathroom, reading the script because I had to go to rehearsals very soon. And so my crib was actually pretty quiet for the most part. One of my homeboy that was my roommate, he was not there. I think he was actually in class. The other guy that was my roommate, he actually was not there, but his friend was actually downstairs. And so I heard a knock on the door. I'm in the bathroom reading my script. I heard a knock on the door. I believe the friend went downstairs to answer the door. Well, he was already downstairs, but he went and answered the door, and it was a detective, a police detective that came in. And a lot of times when I'm in my own zone, I'm kind of still being aware of my surroundings. So I'm listening to the conversation that the detective and the friend is having, and he explains who he is, what's been going on, yada yada yada. Um, Long story short, the friend attempts to run away because he's now knowing what's going on. That they've actually been going on to, they've actually been, watching him for a while now. So literally the guy tries to run. I can hear them downstairs literally, tumbling with each other. The one guy, he's the guy he's trying to get away. The detective kind of like, I guess he pins him down, I'm assuming. I don't know. But I hear a lot of furniture moving. I'm like, the heck is going on? Right. And so now I hear other people coming in, like police officers, probably other detectives. And so I finished using the bathroom. I go in my room and, I'm kind of weirded out a little bit. So then one of the campus police officers comes to my room and, they ask me, hey, you live here, yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. And at one point, and this was actually very scary for me, at one point they were trying to determine should I get expelled from the school because not only me but my homeboy that I knew that stayed with me and the other guy that stayed with me, they were trying to expel all of us because, like I said, they had been watching the one of my roommate's friend for a period of time, and they were kind of already on to him anyway. But just by association of him being at our place, it kind of looked as if we were somewhat involved, which we weren't. But at one point they were thinking about actually expelling us from campus and expelling us from school. Um, thank God they did not. I actually don't necessarily remember. I remember one of my friends, well, my friend's mom, she actually got someone involved and things like that. But for the most part, I don't remember what ended up happening to where they kind of just, oh, I remember now. The guy that stayed with me and my friend, he actually went up there and he took the blame. He took the total blame. He said everything was him. We had nothing to do with it. And so I believe they ended up just putting the punishment on him. And he was very solid about that. And he ended up telling us that he was going to do that. If they weren't going to, drop the whole, I don't want to say it was charges, but they were going to drop it or whatever, but he said he was going to take the blame. And I do recall him saying that. So he was very solid about that. And I was definitely much appreciated. Because a lot of people would not do that, just to be honest with you. But again, that was another thing that really could have, really messed me up and put me in a bad spot. I remember there was even a time where it was a dude that actually got killed on my campus, and I know this sounds so bad, but he did. It was actually 2 doors down from me. He actually got shot and he died. And I thankfully I was not there at the time that it happened, but I remember, leaving class and I remember going home. I see a whole bunch of yellow tape up, and they had sent alerts to everyone's email that hey, it was an active shooter and this and that and the third. I think it kind of went into like a little lockdown situation at one point. But it's just again things happen. Sometimes it's things that are out of our control, and I'm just saying things can happen. I remember even there was a time where I went to college campus. It was like an apartment style party, and I tell you guys online, drugs were everywhere and alcohol was everywhere. Keep in mind, most of us are underage drinking. To be honest with you, and the campus police ended up busting in. When they busted in, um, I ended up running into the room, one of the rooms that was there. And luckily, I ran into a room and pretended that I was a part of the group of guys who had literally had just gotten there. They had literally went to I think it was a fast food restaurant. I think it was Checkers, if I can recall. And they had just gotten there. And the only reason why they were there was because one of the guys that they were with actually stayed there. So they actually had somewhat of a lullaby, and I kind of just went along with it because I was in the room. Now they did know me, so I'm pretty sure that's why they kind of let me just fall in with their, their alibi at the time. Um, thank God that at the time, campus police ended up letting everyone go. Everyone was able to go home and so forth. But again, it's another prime example of how I could have lost everything based on the decisions that I made. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I have made some mistakes. I have made some bad decisions. I have done a lot of wild things in my life. I'll be honest with you, I have. But these are just some things that you ladies, want to keep in mind because, man, we're in the time now, man. It only takes the smallest thing and everything could just be gone. So definitely be smart, be wise. Most importantly, be safe. All right, catch you guys next in the next video. If anyone else has any crazy stories or college stories that they would like to share, or how some things came on their college campus when they were during college, and things like that, definitely leave a comment down below, guys. Make sure you like the video, share this video with a friend, share this video with someone who's interested in going to college, someone who is in college, or someone who has already been in college, because they might be able to tell you some stories as well. But again, when it comes down to crime just being on campus, guys, make the right decisions. Be smart. I'll see you all later.